Maybe? One more coming? All right, well, you know what? Let's come in and I'll do my walk around while we wait for the last. And if the last doesn't come, then we've done the walk around. So let's, yeah, come on over here and line up. So I'm a little, actually, I'm a very laid back guy. I don't know if you saw the first group, but I'm pretty easy. But I'm a little weird about my lines. I want them to be parallel, everybody. So come on over there, because one of the first clinics I ever gave, I wasn't paying attention to the line and somebody got kicked because they lined up behind me and I wasn't anyway. So just be careful when you line up. I don't want to have to worry about it. We're in this indoor ring. That's not helping. The horses are all spooky. So I always do a walk around. I always do a walk around. That you guys groomed your own horses here today, right? Is that fair, pretty much, sort of? Yeah. Half help, half not? Okay. Well, I never groom my own horse. I mean, on the rarest of occasions. I used to, but thank God now I can afford to have a full staff. But just because I have a full staff, you know, people have a tendency when they have a groom to have someone to blame. But I never blame my groom. Well, never's a long time, but I try to never blame my groom because they don't announce his name. You know, when I ride in the ring, they don't announce his name. They announce the owner, so the owner can blame me for things because their name is attached to my back, and they announce my name. So that means that I don't get on the horse unless I check my stuff. Because if I come out of the ring and I notice that it was wrong, how can that possibly be somebody else's fault? So I don't want them to have that responsibility. If I have a horse, for example, that has a tendon issue and it needs special wraps or something, I wrap it. Not necessarily because I'm better at it, but because I don't want them to have that responsibility. If the horse ends up lame, I like your running, that works good. That's an original way to have the running. I'll come fix it in a second. I'm just giving you a hard time. So I like to take responsibility for the horse's legs. So for sure, I'm gonna do the wrapping myself if the horse comes up and it has a tendon problem. So I'm gonna start with Sheila. Hi, what you doing there? George, right? George. All right, George. Let's first snap this up.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, it's because your buckle is there. I kind of fixed it. I don't know how long that's going to last. Okay, so that's a perfect example. Perfect example. The problem is that the buckle that she has came from Taiwan. Not that there's anything wrong with Taiwan, but that's not where I buy my metal products. Okay, so you're going to need to spring for more than a 50-cent buckle, just because the clasp is, the length is pretty good. I like the running though. I like those elastic runnings. Those are nice. Looks good. Whoops. Oh, good boy, George. George felt my fingers. He says, "Don't touch me with those cold hands." That's good. Excellent. I wouldn't go any tighter than that. Okay. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Pretty good. 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 Super. I like the noseband. I like the height of the noseband. It's excellent. Hi there. Bit's good. Yeah. Yeah. I like when I feel the cheek pieces, I just want a little tension. This is a little too loose.
Okay.
I don't know, did you, not that I'm a real social media person, but in thermal, for the first time, I had a horse shake the bridle off. Have you seen that on the internet? So now I'm even more conscious about the throat latch. I think actually it was not the fault, but because the fault was me, but it was because of the what do you call the bonnet? I think it was because of the bonnet. The bonnet was one of those weighted ones that had it where it had foam in it, so it so you don't have to stuff their ears. But I think the weight of the foam just kind of shook it loose. But anyway, so you got to watch your throat latch a little bit. But you're looking good. Your girth is tight. Looks good. Check you out. Nice forelock. Yeah. How are you, young man? Very good. Thank you for joining us. Looks good. I'd say if you're going to put, anytime you're going to put a drop, that doesn't really count. But anytime you're going to put a drop noseband or flash, you want to make sure that your top noseband, okay, the idea behind that is to keep your mouth shut. Yeah. All right? So what I find with a lot of riders is they'll put that on, but then the noseband is loose. Hold it down. Yeah. So if you're going to put the drop on, unfortunately, it means you've got to put a little more pressure on the top. That has to be done first, okay? So make sure that the noseband is nice and tight, otherwise it just drags down, and then when you're cantering, they're making that you know, because they can't breathe. All right. Rest looks pretty good. Your throat latch is maybe one hole tight. I'll loosen that up for you. I'll show you that. See how it's maybe just a little, so if he really gets flexed, I think I'm being a little too picky. No problem. I think I'm being a little too picky, but I'm going to go ahead and go one hole longer. Yeah, so always do the walk around. This whole group looks like they're pretty dialed in, but just to have it, always do a walk around, check all your stuff. No, that's fine. I've been bitten before. All right, let's check you out here. Hi, bud. Okay, that's pretty good. Noseband's in a good spot. Standing is a little snug for my taste. You put a knot. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know that we're even going to need it. I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to take the noseband. Do me a favor. Hop off, because we need to move the saddle up. So let's start by taking the standing off, and then we can always throw it back on. Watch, he's going to kick you. He's a little feisty in this cold weather. Nice to see all this Antares equipment. All right, come here, my friend. And then you're going to want to put more holes. Yeah. You always want to have extra holes, bonus holes, because for temperature changes. And behavioral issues as well. With your stirrups, with the cheek pieces, all of your equipment, you always want to have some extra holes. Take that off. I can throw you up here in a second. All right, I'm going to set this over here when we're done. Let me throw you up. 1, 2, 3. There you go, Andrew. All right. Oh, thank you. Okay. Looking pretty good. Okay, throat latch looks good. Oh, hang on, I had that noseband kind of looking a little shabby. I'm gonna roll it back. Maybe, well, it's not yours, that noseband, is it? No. Okay, I was going to say you can trim it. But you don't want to trim someone else's equipment, do you? All right, that's a little better. Okay. Anyways. All right. Now, there you are. Now, so the way we're going to do this is we're going to do the flat work, and then the last 15-20 minutes I'll try to open up for questions. However, if you have questions in the middle, don't hesitate. Feel free to ask me the questions. I'd like to do this relaxed. I've always found that when I'm all tense and freaked out that I struggle to really learn. So I'm not that kind of guy. So just try to make sure that you stay relaxed so we can work our way through all these problems. Now, let's go ahead and start simply tracking to the left. I want to evaluate this group a little bit at the rising trot. And don't use the entire ring. Stay on this side of the rails. You don't need to go all the way down there. Also, when I do the walk around, I'm always looking at the horse's shoes, the horse's feet, before I go in the ring, because I want to make sure that I don't have nails sticking out. All right, you can go ahead to the rising trot. Start right up. Let these poor ponies warm up a little bit. Andrew, check your girth, bud. Sheila, are your stirrups even? Go ahead, everybody, walk 1 minute. Sheila, come towards me. Drop your stirrups. And just go ahead and stand. Well, they look good, but when you were trotting, you looked like you were kind of cocked off to one side. Anyways, we'll work on that. All right, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't a stirrup issue. Okay, sorry everyone, back to work. Rising trot. All right, now, in the beginning of your work with these horses, the idea is to warm them up. And so, Andrew, when you're warming these horses up, I like to work on one side at a time in the very beginning. So as I'm going to the left, I try to bend the horse a little bit to the left around my inside leg until the horse is really physically warmed up. A little bit more bend. There you go, Andrew. Because what I'm trying to get is I'm trying to get the horse soft in its rib cage, because that's where the horse is going to resist. The horse is always going to resist in its rib cage. Andrew, where does the horse tell you that it's stiff in the body? In its mouth. But you can't take that bait, can you? When they get stiff, Darian, for example, you feel how that one is a little stiff up here and carrying its head up and arching its back? That's the bait. Can you hear me okay? Okay. That's the bait. That's the bait. That is, you don't need to squeeze me. You don't need to bend me. Just pull on my mouth. And so when a horse does that, Darian, you need to make sure that you start with your inside leg and getting the horse to bend around that inside leg so that then the head will fall. It's like a boxer. If you go to the body, the head will fall. There you go. So A little more bend, even a little more bend. So sit tall, bring your head back a little bit, Darian. There you go. Good, and a little more left leg, and especially in the corners, bend him. More left leg, more bend. There you go. Even more. Sit up tall. That's right, good. Left rein only. Don't worry about the outside rein for now. For now, good. More. Exaggerate. Anytime yes, good. And then soften and ask again. And now ask again, Darian. More, get your head back, left rein only. And everybody go ahead and walk. I want everybody to come over here except for Darian. I want you to work right in this half of the ring. I want everybody to come over here and just line up for 1 minute. We're going to watch Darian real quick. Go ahead, back to your work. Just stay down here. Because this is, she's having, it's not going as well for her. She's having a different experience. It's not going as well for her as it is for you guys. But that's fine. Because if this horse isn't like that, your next horse might be. So when a horse is like this, it's cold, it's raining, that's correct. And then relax and ask again. I have a very basic expression, all right, and that is ask 1,000,000 times for 1 second. Ask 1,000,000 times for 1 second when you're working your horses, not one time for 1,000,000 seconds. That's liberating. I find it liberating because if I ask and I don't get what I want, I don't just keep asking. I let go and I ask again because I have 999,000 opportunities to get it right. So don't feel when you're working with these horses that if you don't get it instantaneously, that you don't just relax and try it again. So right there, Darian, there. Now soften and ask again. That's the other thing that riders that we have a tendency, the mistake we have a tendency to make, which is when we ask, we want 100%. No. If they give you 1% of what you want, that's all you want. Then ask again, they'll give you 2, then they'll give you 4, then they'll give you 40, and before you know it, you'll get exactly what you want. But when they give you that 1%, you have to be very quick to relax, ask again. All right, so let's work on this. Darian, come a little bit closer now. Just stay in this circle here to the left, in between me and these 2 rails. There, soften, good, and then ask again. Soften, ask again. When I say soften, just push your hands away from your face. Just push your hand away from your face. Now, another flaw that a lot of riders have is when they think about softening, they think about softening like this. They think about softening like this. When you think about softening, you have to think about softening like this. That's it. That's it. You keep your body still and you just soften. You have 3 basic parts: your leg, your body, your arms, your hands. They have to work together, but they can't be together. They have to work together, but they can't be all fixed. Because then you're not able to really affect the horse. Darian, I'd like to see you a little bit taller, and when you're posting, sit on that horse's back. There you go. And now use that inside leg, a little more pace than that, a little more pace than that. Good. A little more there. And then, but then you see that moment. You saw that moment at the top of the turn when the horse acquiesced, when the horse was said, yes, okay. But then she didn't let go. She didn't let go. It's that moment, Darian. Ask, with that left leg, a little left bend, soften with the hand, only the hand. Yes. And now left leg, good. And ask again. Left leg, a little bit of hand, soften. Because right there, the horse gave a little bit. Good. Now leg, ask again. Leg, now ask for a little more. There, and soften with your hand. Good, good. Ask again, leg, and soften with your hand. Good. Now, with your outside rein, allow the horse to stretch down if it's willing to. Eyes up and keep riding forward. Good, good. A little more leg. Yep, soften. Yep, ask left leg, left rein, left leg first, more, then soften. Forward with that leg. Come on, more leg, more activity with your leg. More, more, more. Come on. There you go. The minute she started, there you go. You see, the minute she started engaging her leg, did you see the difference in the horse's frame? Once she started engaging her leg, the horse started to come through from behind, and then everything's going to start to drop. But it has to come from forward. You have to get the horse out, forward in front of you, flowing up through your seat, up towards your hand. And then it becomes the relationship that you have with the horse's mouth is what keeps them soft. A little more, yeah, soften your hand. Good, good. There you go. Now, more activity with your leg, Darian. Good, more activity with your leg, more. Eyes up, more, more, more. Push, 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 push. More pushing, come on. With your leg. Put the stick on your outside, in your outside hand. Good, because you might have to use it if he doesn't listen to your leg. There, 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 there. Good. Good. There, but then, did you notice right over there by R? Over by R, did you notice how the horse started to push its mouth down? At that moment, you can't impede. You can't impede the horse's mouth. Unless you want to, but we don't want to. We want to encourage the horse to come round with its back. So as the horse starts to stretch down, you have to be very careful that at that moment, you don't hit their mouth. At that moment, you relax with your elbow. And then they'll do this, and then after a little while, they'll come like this again. The minute they do that, leg, and then the bend. All right? There. There. Now the only thing that you need is just a little more energy from behind, Darian. Little more energy from your ankle. Little more energy from your ankle. Good. Good. There. There. And make sure that you tell him that that's correct. Even if you pat him, that's not going to hurt him. Okay, good. Then go back to leg and demand more. Good. And then pat him. Good. And then ask again. Inside bend. Yep, that was a little bit. Do you see how she used her outside rein just by seesawing? I'm not a huge fan of that. Not a huge fan of that. Okay, that just, you know, I'd rather have that leg to hand, not I'm just going to nag you to death. Okay, let's have everyone go out back to work. I think she's got it under control. Very good, Darian. You can go back out on the big track, okay? You want to make sure, ooh, big guy. You want to make sure that it all comes from your leg. You're kind of getting him going forward and then doing, you know, a little bit of this. What we're looking for is the connection between, you want to feel the pressure of your leg in your hand. So as you apply more leg, you want to get a little more energy into your hand. If you're not getting energy, it's because you haven't applied enough leg. Okay? All right. Good, Andrew. Good. So in front of the saddle looks good to me, Andrew. But I'd like to see a little more work behind the saddle. Good, Michelle. Good. But Michelle, it's a little too early. In my opinion, Michelle, it looks great, but it's a little too early to put quite that much outside rein on. Because Michelle, he's not really coming through his top line quite yet. And if you use that outside rein too early, it breaks him in two. Good. Then look. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, geez. Faux pas. Good, Michelle. Just let me turn this off. Sorry. Okay, it's the last time that'll happen. Good, Alicia. Good, and you see, Sheila, how he gets a bit of a swan neck? So you want to make sure that you get him bent around your inside leg. That's excellent, Andrew. You get him bent around your inside leg, and that you try to get him to bring his pull down and a little bit longer in the beginning. I like the activities better behind Andrew. Very good. Good, and Michelle, do you feel how sometimes he props up against you? Okay, now when he goes to stiffen up against you, the reaction has to be inside leg. Your reaction is a little bit to take back with your hands. It has to be from your leg. Good, keep doing the work, Darian. Keep doing the work with that inside leg. Keep trying to do the work with the inside leg. A little more inside bend. Yeah, and Alicia, right there, when the horse sneezed, that was a really nice moment to allow your hands to lower so that the horse drops its pull. The way the horse is trotting is a bit in two parts. Okay, let's have everybody walk, and we want to watch Alicia real quick. And this is important for you, Michelle, because it's a bit more obvious, and stay down here. And Sheila will watch Sheila too. The rest of you have it going pretty well, but Michelle, you need to watch Alicia. I love group lessons because, you know, someone else is having struggle, so it's easier to apply it to you. Now what's happening to her is a little bit of what happens to you. It's just happening to her a little bit worse. Where she's getting it better now, but where you can see that the front end is going and the hind end is going, and the horse has its head down, and it looks fine. It looks fine. But if you take a closer look, the horse is not connected from the hind inside leg up through the top line and onto her hand. The way that's going to feel as though when you're riding it, the horse is broken a little bit under the saddle. And that's where you struggle with a little bit with this one every once in a while. You'll be going, it looks great, but he'll come off the bit for a second. You feel that? The only reason he does that is because you're getting it just a little, your ratio is off. Mm-hmm. You have maybe 20% too much hand and 20% not enough leg. Okay? So just think with your leg a little bit more where he's coming through, and then I think you'll start getting that flow through, up through the saddle and into the pressure with your hand. And that's right. That's right. That's where it has to begin. It has to begin with the horse searching for your hand, searching for your hand. Very good, Alicia. And now this horse is young, Sheila, so it's very important that you don't sacrifice the strength of the top line so that the horse's head is like this. Look at me. This is not right. It's not right. It has to come through, Sheila, from the horse's hind ankle forward, up through, the back has to come up and the pole has to go down. So you want to, in the beginning, be softer with your hand. Yes. Be softer with your hand, and when he probes for a longer neck, in the beginning you have to give it to him. So a little more left bend, a little more left leg. See, because your left leg is just sitting there. Your left leg has to, look at me, Sheila. Look, left leg, left bend, left leg, left bend, left leg, left bend, and try to get him to come through from that ankle. Excellent. Now, Alicia, as you do that, don't pitch your hips, your shoulders forward. Keep your hind end, keep your horse's hind end working, by using that leg and allowing this horse, because your horse is also there. When he starts to do that, allow him to lengthen a little bit. There, and leg. Then when he does that, ride him with leg, and you don't have to use so much hand. There you go. There you go. A little more activity. That's getting it, Sheila. Good. Keep those hands away from your hips. When you think about softening, think about hands away from your body. Don't think about this. Think about hands away from your body. That way you can keep your legs active. Keep your legs active. When you're riding with this horse that wants to get a little bit up, don't worry about that. All you want to think about, Darian, is getting the horse through from behind. Even if the horse is up, I don't care about that. I want to see the horse's hips coming through. I want to see the horse's hind end working. Let's go ahead and go back out. You guys are doing good. Why don't you two go ahead and reverse? The other three can go back out, and now you can go to the right. So now with this one, I want to see you. I want to see you because it's really nice. The horse has a great trot. You ride great, all right. But it's just, I think every once in a while you feel a little bit of like a stick. Yeah. Yeah.
And he's a little young yet.
Yeah. So how old is he? 6?
He's 5.
He's 5. Oh, yeah. He looks really good for a 5-year-old. Oh, you got a nice horse. But you want to make sure that you're always thinking just from my leg.
Yeah.
And yes, and let him get a little bit. He naturally wants to get a little like a seahorse. Yeah. Okay. So try to get him where you feel like he's reaching. Okay. Go ahead. Good. Right leg there, Darian. Right leg, right rein. Yeah, that's fine. Darian, come on in here. Let me ride that horse for a minute because it's going to be a long day if I don't. Good, Sheila. There. Then that would be a good moment, Sheila, to let him stretch a bit through his neck. Yeah, yeah, good, good. Even longer there, Alicia. Even longer. That was the right thing to do there, Michelle. That was the right thing to do. Good, Andrew. Keep that activity coming through. Thank you.
He's 5. Done like most of the trainings.
Oh, okay. No, you're doing a good job. Oof. Okay. Good, Alicia. Good. Yeah, but then let that be a little bit longer. You're doing good, but you see how maybe even why don't you come in and you can put her reins on the snaffle instead of on the bottom ring, because I think that's a little too much. Good, Sheila. Excellent, Michelle. And then Michelle, try to get that transition without him coming back into you. Good, Andrew. Good. And then, okay, go ahead and walk, everyone except Michelle. I want you to keep working. Sorry, Michelle. Now, see, Michelle, if you can get that same feel without being quite that forward. So slow your rhythm down a bit. There you go. And keep that same flow so he swings his hips, but isn't doing the medium where it's more of a working trot. That's correct. That's better. Good. Good. Very nice there, Michelle. Good. Did you feel that? The only thing, Michelle, is right here as you went past the back gate. Did you feel how he got a little bit behind the bit? Yeah. Yeah, that's where just relax your elbows. Relax your elbows and push your hands away from your body a bit. There you go. Slow down your rhythm again, Michelle. That's right. There you go. See if you can do it. That's there. Now you're affecting his hind end. Did you feel that? Yeah. That was excellent in that turn. All right, good. You can go ahead and walk. All right, so now I'm just going to try to set this horse up a little bit for Darian. Now, this is a 5-year-old. Darian's done the work on it, right? You've done all the training now. So now the most important thing with this horse, Darian, is not when you say no, it's when you say yes. So as I use my inside leg, now I don't have to use much hand, but I want you to watch my leg. When the horse, and this is for the other jockeys, you have to be a little bit hardwired that when the horse gets stiff in the jaw, instead of pulling, Sheila, that you go and use your spur. So here I'm asking with my leg, and okay, he's not being stiff in the jaw, so I really can't show you. I'll go left, and then maybe he'll get stiff. So now if I'm going to go left, Darian, I use my left leg, and then if he goes to brace there, then I go with my spur. There I go with my spur. So I'm just going to give him a minute because he wanted to be a little bit stiff on the left. So I'm just going to give him an opportunity to be stiff. There you go. And then go back, left leg, left leg, left leg, just to explain it to him. There, left leg, left leg, left leg. I'm not going to worry about his mouth. I'm far more interested in what's going on behind the saddle. This is a drastic example of the bay horse. There. So Darian, with this young horse, you have two ways, you have two choices. You can either teach the horse to put its head down and not come through by using your hands, or you can teach the horse to come through, and then ultimately the head's going to take care of itself. So you have to allow this horse's antics in the beginning not to be a burden, because he's just testing the water. He's just testing the waters to see what's right and what's wrong. He's a little confused and frustrated, so he's lashing out a touch. Now I'm not going to hit him head on. I'm going to assume that he just doesn't understand. And I'm going to use my leg gently, my calf and my ankle, to try to affect his ribs and get him to push out a bit. And then if he resists, then I'll go with my spur. All right, so now I have a nice bend, and now he's ready to learn. And that's an important moment. It's important to realize when the horse is ready to learn. Not just to teach them, it's putting them in a position where they're ready to learn. And then they're very easy to train. Ah, good boy. Good boy. And the whole time I'm trying to think with my leg, Darian. Now I'm going to go back to the right, because we got very close on the left, but we weren't quite there. But there was no reason to get fixated on the left. Instead, we'll go back to the right. He's a little more experienced on the right. There. Now, on the right, I want a little bit more. On the right, I'm going to try to get his hips to start shifting out with my leg as well. There. And again, Darian, the most important job that you have is once he gives you what you want, let him know 100% that that's what you were looking for. Especially with these young horses. Nice, we have a lot of young horses in this group. Andrew, how old is yours? Yours doesn't look young. He's like 9 or 10. How about yours? 8. So we have 3 youngins. Yours is 5. Sheila, you're 5 still? 6? Okay. Super. Okay. All right, so now I'll go back to the left. Now, because he understands the right, I'll go ahead and use a little bit of right leg as well as I teach him the left, because he understands the right. So with this horse, to teach him the left, I go to his good side while he's going on his bad side. So I'm gradually negotiating, working the right, and then left. Good boy. Good boy. He's just still not there. He's starting to be ready to reach down and look for the bit. And that's really what you want. You want these horses to start looking down for your hands. Good boy. Good boy. He's just a little bit stiffer on the left than he is on the right, but that's okay. All right, now I'll go ahead back to the right again and do a little trot, and then hopefully pretty quick we'll give him back to you. Now, while I do this with the horse, I try when I'm riding my horses at the canter, at the jumps. How many people here, I'm talking to the riders, have had horses that have a tendency to lean on them? Okay. And those horses that lean on you, do you notice that they have a tendency to, well, maybe it's a bit reaching, but if you have a horse that leans on you, they have a tendency to have the front rail. They have a tendency to have the front rail of an oxer more than the vertical, but they'll have the front rail of the oxer because they're not really supporting their own balance. So as I teach these young horses, I try to teach the young horses, and you'll notice on the good side it's easier. With these young horses, there's a moment where there's no hand, where the horse has to support its own weight. And I'm going to try to carry that through. I'm going to try to carry that through the entire training regime with my horse, because I don't want them to learn that it's about leaning on me. So when I'm starting with a young horse, there's a lot of times when, if they're good, I try to have next to no pressure or hyper light. Good boy. All right, let's go to the trot, man. So when I go to the trot, Darian, I'm going to think about the left leg because that's where the stiffness is. So I'm going to think about the left leg and try to stay off of the hand as much as I possibly can. Good boy. Could be the saddle is a little crooked, but okay. There we go. All right, so now we're up at the trot, and I'm going to give him a shot on the left, but I'm assuming I'm going to have to start on the right. There. Well, I'm going to go back to the right because he's struggling a little bit on the left. There. And if he wants to canter, I don't worry about that. Just needs to burn off a little energy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. And I'm going to wait, Darian, for him to want to trot rather than making him trot. So I'm going to keep the canter a significant amount of work with my leg and try not to be too strong with my hands. So, good boy. That way, he kind of took care of it himself. I didn't really have to do anything. So, on the right, Darian, he's dialed in. He's easier on the right than the left. So again, as I go back to the left, for him, for this horse, because he definitely has two different sides, I'm going to use a little bit of outside rein there with him. Just because he has an issue. He has a little bit of an issue on the left. So he's not as coordinated on the left as he is on the right. So I'm going to nurse him. I'm going to nurse him through it. Now, as we go to the left, I'm going to try to keep my rhythm slow because he struggles with the dance. To the left, he struggles a little bit with this dance. So if I keep my rhythm slow and then put a little bit of left bend in, Darian, then he's going to start getting comfortable with his left side, and that it's not about a bunch of pressure. Good boy. Good boy. There you go. And so I'm trying to make it so that he is comfortable, Darian, reaching down for the left side of the bridle, because that's where he struggles. So I'm not focusing on having his head like this. That's not my goal. I'm focusing on getting him to hunt for my hand. Now he's starting to hunt for my hand. Once the horse starts to look for your assistance, then when you help them, they're willing to listen. Whereas if you try to force them to listen, then they don't want to. And then you get a lot of behavioral issues. But this way now, he's looking for me to kind of show him how to do it right. So now I feel like I've pretty much got him well, not perfect, not great, but well, going to the left. So now I'm going to work for you, Darian, just a little bit of canter on the left so I can see what I've got. Right there, when you got a little stiff, I just use a little left leg, left rein, and now. And again, with him, because he's a special case, I'm going to use a little bit of more right rein than I would usually use on another horse, because he's one-sided. So I'm going to ride his good side while he's working on his bad side, and start to slowly work on his bad side while trying to give him the balance. And Darian, you see I'm starting to change my position a little bit. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm starting to get a little bit taller. I'm starting to get him where he's getting a little more suspension with that hind inside leg, because that's his weak point. But it has to come, he has to push, 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 push. He's got to push me with that leg. Good boy. All right, back to a little more right rein because he's getting a little weak. And that's the other thing, Darian. We'll have to be careful that we don't do too much left with him, because he's going to need to be nursed to strength, not forced to strength. So now I'll get a little bit of collection. Good boy. Little bit of spur for collection. Good boy. You always, when you want to think about collection, you always want to think about leg for collection. When I want suspension and collection, I think about left leg, left spur, or right leg, but mainly leg, 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 leg. And if I want collection, I'm going to sit heavy and spurt, 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 spurt. Okay, so I can't do any more than that because that'll be a lot for him. He's just a young horse. All right, back to the trot. Ooh. And again, Darian, when I wanted him to go back to the trot, sure, I would have loved to have had a beautiful transition to the trot. But that's not going to happen right now. All I'm looking for is that he keeps coming through doesn't panic about his frailty. He doesn't panic about his frailty. He keeps coming through and starts getting some strength to support himself on that left side. And now I'm going to change my rhythm. Just my rhythm, a little bit more hand to try to get him there. When he rooted, Darian, I wanted to use my left spur. See right here, he's getting tired. There. And for the sitting trot, ooh, good boy. Now, my goal is, as he starts to fight for himself, that I make it easy. So as he starts to get a quality left trot, Darian, I want to let him go a little bit slower. And then when he goes slower, then to make it pretty, if I want to make it pretty, then with a relaxed seat, then I can start using my legs, both legs, and then I can start applying a little bit of outside rein. Now with the outside rein, I can start using that inside leg to come through into that pressure. And if I want collection, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then I'll go back to the right and I'll give them back to you. So the whole time I'm doing this, whether it's a young horse or an old horse, I'm always trying to stay focused on my principle. Andrew, what would you say my principle is? Yeah. And what else would be one of my principles? That's correct. What else would be one of my principles, Michelle? Sorry? Yeah, try to give as fast as I can. What's another principle I might be thinking about? Huh? Yeah. Another one? Yes. That's the biggest one for me is, here, let me throw you up. 1, 2, 3. There you go. As I'm doing all of my work on a horse, I'm always trying to think from the back to the front, not the front to the back. Always thinking back to front. I'm always trying to think that this is where everything originates. Quality comes from the hips, not the shoulders. The shoulders are very deceptive. The hips are honest. If you can get their hips coming through and have them swinging their hips and loose through their back, then everything that you get from there on comes from a point of honesty. I would rather have a horse coming through from behind and be inverted than have a horse with its head down and working in two parts. That's, you need to remember that, okay? All right, let's go ahead. We can do just a little bit more trot work and then we'll go right to the canter. All right, let's go ahead and track back to the left, the rising trot. So Darian, for you, it's just basically if he wants to put his head down, I'm not going to get in his way in the beginning. If he wants to stretch down, I'm not going to impede his progress. Yeah, forward first there, Michelle, that's right. And when I say forward, it doesn't mean speed. It just means that your tempo is slow. Your tempo is slow, but you're thinking with your leg. Excellent, Andrew. I'd say a little more inside rein, Michelle. There you go. Yep, Sheila, try to get him where he's supporting himself on his hind end, where he's not swanning, where he doesn't just have his head up and arched. All right, let's go to the right. Very good. Very good, Michelle. 5 years old, that's amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Yeah, I guess we have to thank his mother for that, right? And not that you haven't done a good job, but. Good, Alicia. Now, every once in a while, I'd love it if this horse would try to look for truffles. Try to make him look for truffles. If he's willing to try to sniff out a truffle, you're doing a good job. Bend him right a little bit. He's a little fresh today, which is great, no problem. And see if you can get him to reach for your hand. Sit a little taller, Darian. Sit a little taller. Taller. Get your head back. Use that inside leg. There you go. Maybe a little bit of outside rein as well sometimes. Maybe a little bit of outside rein as well. Yep, good. Then back to the inside, Darian. There you go. Pat her. Pat him. Pat him. Good. Ask again. There, Sheila. There, Sheila. That's right. Excellent there, Alicia. You start to feel the difference where the back comes up as the pole goes down. That's really a nice job, Andrew. All right, let's go. What's going on down there? But let's go ahead and go to the canter. Just think forward first. Go ahead and go to the canter there, Darian. Outside leg back. Try to get that inside bend there. Good, and then off and ask again. Try not to just get locked. Try to always be off and on, off and on. It's okay, Sheila, try again. Outside leg back, young lady. All right, outside leg back there, Alicia. Good. You're better at the canter, Alicia. Good, good. Oh, outside leg back. Beautiful, Michelle. Good, Andrew. Good. So Andrew, his canter is, that's an excellent job, Darian. That was smart. His canter is not as good as his trot. Yeah. So Andrew, when you're going to canter, it works for you at the trot. Everybody go ahead and walk a minute. I need to work with Andrew for 1 minute. Andrew, come on over here, bud. The same place Darian was. And let's do the canter here on the right lead. Okay, but before you start, at the trot, you have that lovely super arm, the relaxation, all that's great. The horse is coming through its back. But then at the canter, he just doesn't really support his power from his hind end. And so, but you're riding the canter too similar to the way you ride the trot. Okay? When you're riding the canter, what I'd like to see you do is exhale and put a little more pressure on with your leg. And in the beginning, he's going to feel a little bit, maybe like he's squirting out from under you. Put that inside bend on and try to think about getting that hind inside leg to step up and through. All right, let's work a little bit here on this circle. Good. Better at the canter than at the trot. He's a little better with his neck at the canter. This horse is just good all the way around, huh? It's like you're cheating. Okay, Andrew, so at the canter, shorten up your reins a bit and just work the right side of this horse in the beginning. So it's not too linear. Make sure that you just work the right side, and so you're going to need to put a little bit of right spur into him, maybe a little further back with the right spur. That's right. Good. Perfect. Good job. And try to get with your hips, Andrew, a little less, let's see, if you're a little stiff with your hips and your lower back, then he's going to be a little stiff with his hips and lower back. So I want you to get into his motion a little bit more and allow yourself to be a bit more flamboyant with your body, where you work down into his hips and drive him a little bit harder than that. That's still not quite enough. More for me, please. Yep, good. A little more right rein. As you drive more, you're going to need more bend. There. Do you feel that, Andrew? Yeah. Okay, did you see how once he got that, you could see that? Once he got that right leg on a little bit more, that's excellent. Now, do you see how, Andrew, you're starting to get a little bit of suspension at the canter? Yeah. Ask for more. Ask for more. More, even more. Try to get 2 laps where that hind end is running over the front end. More. Come on, more. That was the best one right there. Come on, a little more. Another lap, but I want a lot. I want a lot on this last lap. Good, shorten up your right rein a bit. There you go, Andrew, there you go. Now, outside leg back, good. A little bit more, give me one more lap. And then after this lap, you're gonna go to the collection, but I want that collection mainly from leg and seat. So knee and thigh, sit, and now you can work on the collection, but make sure that as you're doing it, Andrew, that you're softening with your hands, that you're not letting him lean on you. Yeah, better, good. That's pretty good, Andrew, good. Okay, now let's go forward again and ask for that engagement from behind. That's right, good. Shorten up that right rein. And now more engagement. As you're engaging Andrew, relax your hips so that he can relax his back. Does that make sense? If you're stiff through your pelvis, then he's going to be stiff through his back. So you've got to make sure that you exhale and drive a little bit harder. More, even more. Get that hind end as though it's coming right through up into your hand. There you go. Good. Okay, now let me see that collection again. From your knee and thigh, tall, keep that leg working, and don't let him lean on you through the collection. Just push hands away from your face. Keep those hands moving. Yep, and then push off so he's not leaning on you. There you go, Andrew. Good job. Okay, let's go ahead, Andrew, do a flying lead change with that collection through the middle of the circle, and then you can go to the left for a minute or two. Outside leg back. Okay, forward first. That's right. More. Not quite enough. There you go. Good. Shorten up that inside rein. That's right. Good. And then soften and ask for the bend again. And as you ask for that bend, it's got to be leg first, Andrew. It's got to be leg and then the hand. Good. So you want to feel, Andrew, a little bit like his hips are shifting out, like drifting in a car. You want to feel like his hips are shifting out on the track, and that's when he's going to start supporting his weight. Pretty good. Now, one lap with a lot forward, like a medium canter. More. Pushing. And the next lap, knee and thigh, tall collection. Keep your hands working. Don't let them lean on you. There. Heavy seat. Keep that leg working. Heavy seat. Good. See, then that's a true canter. I know, does that feel a little better, Andrew? Yeah. Okay, go ahead and walk, Andrew. So, also, Andrew, what's going to be important with this horse is that when you do your canter, that you ride one side at a time. That you ride him on the left and that you ride him on the right until he really gets that strength. Yeah. Okay? All right. Your canter was good. Your canter was okay. All right. You need to do a little more work, but this group can just chill for a minute and we'll work with Sheila real quick. Okay, Sheila, come on over here. Let's work on the canter a little bit to the left. No. Where did she go wrong? Huh? Where do you think she went wrong?
Setting up her trap.
Well, you picked up the canter. You got about 3 strides, but none of them were through. In other words, he wasn't pushing from behind and then you went to your hand. Okay? You cannot go to the hand until you feel that you're being shoved like a funny car. You know what a funny car is, right? One of those dragsters with the big tires in the back and those tiny little tires up front. All right? So when you feel like you're being shoved like a funny car and that hind end is going to go pass you by like a trailer that fell off the hitch, then you use your hand. But you don't want to use your hand until you have that horse going flying where you see their hind legs coming up underneath you. All right, let's try that again. Don't touch that horse's mouth with both hands until the horse is pushing you, pushing you, pushing you. Okay, Sheila, go ahead. Just go, push, just get that horse going forward with a little bit of inside bend. More, 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 more. That's still not engaged. Good. Now, use centrifugal force as your friend and his enemy. Yes, inside bend. Yes, right. Now, this is a canter I want to go to a jump with. That canter I'll aim at a jump. The other canter I don't want to aim at a jump because I'm going to come out of the turn and I don't have that. I don't have it. I have this. I have this. I don't like that. I don't like this when I'm going to the jump. Do you like that? Do you like it? Do you like it? I know you don't like it, right? So that means that when you're doing your flat work, it all has to be from what you like, which is the hind end coming through. Yes. Now this horse is active. Great. He's a little fresh. I love that. I love that he's a little fresh because now we can make him strong and rideable. Good, Sheila. Excellent. Now go ahead and now keep that work, but then just start thinking about changing the rhythm. Changing the rhythm. Use your knee and thigh there and then soften because he was good. Because he was good. Yes. Excellent. Maybe now you can go outside. And I would choose to go outside the rail when the horse is good, meaning those rails. Why? Why, Darian, would I want to go outside the rail when the horse is good? Make the circle bigger. Why? Huh? Yeah, it's easier for the horse. It's easier, bigger circle is easier. So I'm using physics as my friend, and I'm using physics as his enemy. So if he learns to slow down and be rideable, I make things easier by making a bigger circle. But then if he ends up being problematic and getting stiff, I go back to a smaller circle and make him work harder. A horse like this especially. Not as much that horse. That horse isn't quite ready for that much pressure yet. But this horse is. Good. Good, good. See how long you can, now see if you can let him hunt for truffles. See if you can let him keep a nice rhythm without being back in your lap. Yes, good. Now slow down your rhythm, exhale, and sit. 1, 2, there. There. By changing her rhythm, Andrew, but staying relaxed in her back, the horse came through from behind. If she had done the same thing and gotten a little stiff with her back, then it would have shut his back down. But because she stayed, yeah, and then push your hands away, yeah, good. Now he's starting to carry his own weight without leaning on her. Let's go ahead and do a flying lead change through the middle of the circle. And now you're changing leg. Now it's right leg. Beautiful. There. And if he's good, not too much pressure. If he starts to randomly accelerate, then put your right leg on and right bend. And sit tall. Change your rhythm. Bend him right. Bend him right. Change your rhythm. Bend him right. That's not bending him right, Sheila. Bend him right. More. More. There. There, good, and then soften. You see, you're not bending them right until the hind inside leg gets to their belly button. You understand the difference? The belly button, which means the center of the horse's body. If they're just here on parallel tracks, you're not really bending them. Now she's bending them. And you see the rigidity that he gets through his hips because it's difficult. It's difficult, physically. So when you're training these horses, especially when they're young, Easy. But especially when they're young, except for this one, you want to make sure that you get the horses to bend their hips and have to carry their weight with the hind inside leg. That means that they're carrying their weight, they have to put their hind inside leg under their belly button. Otherwise it's even. You want that hind inside leg to carry the bulk of the pressure. Good, Sheila. Around me. Good. Good. Okay, that was good. Excellent. All right. So let's see how we're doing time-wise. Perfect. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and do the simple exercise that the last group did. You're just going to start at the trot, and Andrew, we're going to start with you. Your trot was so good. We can start at the trot, and you're going to trot through the cavalettes. Then after you do the cavalettes, I want to see a leg yield to M off that left leg, left bend. So you're going to leg yield to M, and then in between those two rails, so about where the window is, you're going to pick up the left lead. Then on the left lead, you're going to go ahead and canter down this line. Then for this group, we're going to make it a little bit more difficult. You're going to do the rail on the end like it's an end jump. Hi, bud. You can do the rail on the end like it's an end jump, and then you're going to come right back down this line at the canter. Then you're going to turn left. You're going to break to the trot about the same place, about the other window, about the same place you picked up the canter. And then you're going to leg yield back off the right leg and trot through the...
Do you want it in between the post and on the outside? Do you want it over to the...
Yes, all the way to M, all the way to wall. Yeah, absolutely. And the same thing, Andrew, all the way to H, yeah, okay? The best place to stand in this small ring is probably on the rail over here, but give each other a good 2 or 3 horse lengths because I don't want to see anybody with a hoof in their face, okay? And whoever's going to be at K is going to be the next one to go, so. Okay, so Andrew, before I tell you, I want to know, what do you think?
The leg yield over there needs to be better, and then the end pull, and I would say probably the other leg yield too.
Yeah. Yes, you're absolutely right, Andrew. I would say there's a consistent thread.
Yeah.
Like if I was in your shoes, I'd say to myself, you know what, this horse isn't really moving laterally. Yeah. And so he's not moving laterally, and I think that that goes hand in glove with the complication at the canter.
Yeah.
So I think that the next time you do this exercise, you're going to have another shot at it. The next time you do this exercise, I really like to see an acute shift. I want to see his hips out. His hips need to be, he works like this. Yeah. He's got to start, you've got to start being able to get that actuate. You need to be able to actuate that hind end and place it where you want to place it. Okay? All right. It's got to come from a little more leg.
Yeah.
You're beautiful position, but you have you're a little too light with your leg. All right, a little more activity with your leg. Well, he's good at that. Excellent. But now I need you to walk. I need you to walk. Why? Why did I need her to walk? Anyone? You maybe didn't see that, but no, I didn't care about that so much. She did, you're right. But why anyone over there? Why did I need her to walk? Did you see that? You didn't know I was going to put you on the spot. You thought you were just having fun and, you know, kibitzing.
You missed it.
Okay. Why do you think I needed you to walk there?
You
Well, it's not about him. It's about you. It's kind of you. Maybe it's a little you. It's all the way you. Now, this was fine. This was beautiful, actually. But it goes with your intent. Do you remember with your flat work how you have a tendency to pull his head back into your lap? Okay? When you trotted through these cavalettis, great. You went to the sitting trot. Perfect. Your body position, perfect. Head, shoulders, hips. I was happy. You even got him to start shifting out and you had a nice leg yield. But your arms and your pressure was a death grip. Right? And you're just holding him and pushing him and holding him and pushing him, which goes along with the flat work where he's behind the bit. Ultimately, I would rather have a horse in front of the bit than behind the bit. There's nothing I hate more than turning the corner and having a horse staring at the ground when I've got a 1.60 m jump in front of me. I want to have that horse turn the corner and have his eye on the jump and still be rideable. So what you're training ultimately sells you yourself short. And you could accomplish the same thing just Alicia, just by, you know, okay, we got it. We got it. Just keep those hands moving. Keep the hands moving. All right? Start from the beginning. It was so good that I had to give you a hard time.
That's okay.
I always give my students a really hard time when it goes well. That way they resent me the most. Good. This is better. Keep it coming from your leg though. Keep that leg working. Tall and patient. Beautiful. Exhale. Soften with those hands. Don't get a death grip. There you go. Now the canter. I don't want a fixed hand in space. Good. Okay, you tell me, what's the problem, Alicia?
Because I hold, he's looking for that, so he's not.
You're so busy riding his face that you're out of touch with everything that's going on back here. You're right, beautiful. Okay, so first I want to tell you that. So just because I'm giving you a hard time doesn't mean I think you're a good rider. But I'm here to tell you what your problem is.
Yeah,
And your problem is that you get your arms stiff, you get riding here, and you allow yourself to get too light in the tack, and your center of gravity is about 3 inches too far forward. And then you hold your breath. Okay? Which sounds like a little thing, it's a big thing, okay? Now, also, every time you got to the jump, the rail, you had this lovely bend, and then you went straight. Bend. No. Bend. Bend. They need to learn to jump on the bend. They need to learn to jump on the bend, okay? You'll get a chance to do it again. When you do it again, I want to see you exhale. After every one of these little exercises, I want to see you exhale, allow yourself, you're going to feel like you're getting left, but allow yourself to get in the back of the tack and feel what's going on behind the saddle instead of all your focus on what's going on from the pommel forward, okay? All right. Good. Good. Okay, hang on. Because I love the leg yield, I love the trot rails, he was great. I have it a tiny bit short, I'll stretch it out for you. Yeah, I'll stretch it out for you. Okay, but as you're coming through the turn, I want you to, you can't, look guys and gals, you cannot ride the trot the same way you ride the canter. And let me explain to you why. When you, if I'm standing like this, Andrew, which lead am I on?
You're on the left, right, the left.
Left. I'm on the left lead.
Yeah, you're on
Okay? If I'm standing like this, which lead am I on? Right. If I'm trotting and I'm like this, which way am I going? There's no, it's always the same. In other words, if I'm trotting, unless I'm leg yielding, there's no difference between a right trot and a left trot, except for the fact that we change our diagonal. But that's a parallel gait. The canter is not a parallel gait. It's different. The left side is one way and the right side is another way. There's two sides to the canter. There's a right side and a left side. So you want to ride one side at a time. As you came through that turn, you had a lovely left bend. And then you relinquished that control. And did you notice the minute you relinquished that control when you went to straight, you lost the canter, you lost the control, and you lost the stability. Because anytime you go against nature, anytime you go against nature of an animal, or a human animal, right? Anytime you go against nature, there's chafing, there's friction. You always want to keep in mind that there's a difference between the left lead and the right lead. It's a slight difference, but it's a difference. That's why, for example, when you do the counter canter, I'm going to take an extreme to prove my point. When you do the counter canter, you have to bend the horse to the outside and they canter through the turn like this, right? On the right lead. If you're going to be on the left lead, even on the exact same turn, you have them bent to the inside. But for some reason, we're trained with the idea that straight is straight. And your horse has to be straight in order to go straight. No, absolutely not. Your horse can be bent on a straight line. And also remember, this looks a lot more like a fishbowl to me than a polo field. You ever played polo? Well, it's a blast. But anyways, in polo, you're allowed to just run and you get going so fast. And you just have straight lines. There's no, but this is a fishbowl. So goldfish don't spend a lot of time swimming straight. Neither do we. So there's no reason to spend time working on having a straight horse because you're never really going straight. There's not that many straight lines. And even when you're going straight, you're still bent because you're on the left lead on the straight line. So I want you to try it again. And I want you just this time to exaggerate the left bend all the way down that line. Okay? And then when you get here, I want you to exaggerate the right bend all the way down this line. Just for the hell of it. Okay? It's very tempting to think of the canter the same way you think of the trot. But they're two totally different gaits. Oh, I forgot to stretch that out. Anyways. Good. Good. Now just keep that bend. And the balance is with the left leg. Yep, try again. Now you're on the right lead. Turn left, Michelle. Go ahead and turn left. Go try that again. Go try that again. There. Good job. Excellent. Go ahead down the rail. You don't have to do the trot. You're a genius at that. Go ahead and just pick up the left lead. And now work on just getting that left bend and maintaining it. Keep your head back. Keep your head back. Yes. Yes. Keep that left bend. Good. Yep. Try again. Turn left again. Turn left again, Michelle. Good job. Go ahead. Keep your outside leg a little bit further back. Good. Yes, this, yes. Outside leg back. Yep, you got it. That's the right thing to do. Try again. Well, at least he gave us a little bit of work. Good, Michelle. Yep. Yep. Now you're talking. That's fine. Outside leg back. Okay, let's try the right. Right bend. Start from the left.
That's the hard side for him.
The left is the hard side? Well, I have to say, he really gave you a college effort in between these two.
Yeah.
So let's see, we'll see if we can get all three. Yeah, keep your outside leg this time almost on his tail. And your head back. Yep, yep, outside leg, that's all right. There, oh, he almost went back to the left lead. Almost went back, keep going, you're good. Okay, go do it again, that's fine. It's fine, try it again. He'll get it, he's smart. Put your stick in the other hand. Good. Yep, yep, good job, Michelle. Good job, keep it up. Excellent job. Tall. Make a circle, and then go ahead and go down that line. Keep the right bend all the way through. Outside leg back. Yep. There you go. Sit up, sit up. Good, good, good. Okay, next one. Very good, Michelle. Well, good. So we found something that we get to work on. Yay!
Not quite translate yet.
I was going to send you home early.
There's a reason I came.
Good job. So I think that's going to be the answer for you, Michelle, with him. Okay? Good. Keep doing your flat work, Darian. Bend him left, push him to the right. Good. Outside leg back for the canter. Eyes. Good, good. Keep a little bit of bend. Yeah, well, then that's why we're working. Walk, 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 walk. Now this is what happens a little bit. As you start to get control, there's new options. You should have just kept control. All right? Left lead, do that line again. Once you start getting that left bend, and you get the horse supporting its own weight, all of a sudden, you don't always have to go 6 feet forward. You can go 6 feet back to make it fit. Good. Sit up. Sit up. Sit up. Right, left, right. Good. This is a nice horse. Make a circle. Make a circle. This is a nice horse. This is a light blood horse that just needs to learn, but it has all the right instincts. Yep, all the right instincts. Make a circle around me. You understand what I see in this horse? Because its instinct is always to go up. No, you're fine. I've been hit before. By bigger horses than that. Bend right. Just pick up your right lead and just do the line. Don't worry about the end jump. That might be a little, that's a bridge too far for this horse right now. Good. Sit heavy, sit heavy. Keep your head back. You don't need to release. It's a rail on the ground. Okay, good. Yeah, I love rails on the ground. I love the simple exercises like this. They really show me where I'm wanting. They really show me where I have to work. Good job, young lady. Good job. This is a nice horse. He'll get it. He'll get it. You're barking up the right tree. Okay, next one. You're barking up the right tree. This horse is worth the effort. It's absolutely worth the effort. But that being said, you've got a lot of work to do. Yeah, you've got a lot of work to do. You've got to just do that flat work and get that horse comfortable. Okay, get that horse comfortable bending its body. Beautiful. Straightness with your hips. There you go. Left bend. Good. Yes. That's. Wow, we got a dressage horse. And it's a little bit, I would say, for Sheila, I would say, Michelle, the only one of the things that you need to work on is the positioning of your legs. That with these young horses, Sheila, come on over here 1 second. With these 5 and 6 year olds, 7-year-olds, when you're doing this type of exercise, this one was older, right? 8. Okay, come on over here, Sheila. And for everyone over here, when you're riding a young horse, and you're working on this type of exercise, you have to be very, very certain that, for example, if she's going to be on the right lead and she's asking for this horse to do work while it's on its right lead, that her left leg is significantly back, much more so than with your horse, Andrew, and with yours, Alicia. You have to exaggerate the positioning of that outside leg so that there's no real confusion for the horse. Then later on, of course, it should just be here. But in the beginning with these young horses, you have to carry it back a little bit while you're doing this exercise so that they understand, oh, okay, I'm supposed to do all this while I maintain that lead. All right, well, you'll have a chance to do it again. Andrew. We're at the top, right? Andrew, we're going to do the exact same thing the other way. Yeah. You guys can stay there, it's fine. We're just going to do the same exercise the other way. And, you know, with this exercise, with the older horses, we're not going to do that today. We're not quite there yet. But then what I'll do is I'll say, okay, I'm going to add one, leave one out. I'm going to leave one out, I'm going to add one. So that way, you're not only working on lateral control, you're working on getting the horse back on its hind end, adding, subtracting, that type of thing. Because the measurement's exactly the same. So you just pick one, and maybe I'd do 4 and 6, 6 and 4, that type of thing. So it's a simple exercise that you can make complicated. Okay, Andrew, it's good, but don't cheat. Don't cheat, okay? Because you're cheating yourself. You know, it's lovely, and you kind of got it right, but you got the exercise technically right, but not spiritually. Because our goal with him, remember when I was riding the Darian's horse, right? I was like, look, the whole time I just have to think about going forward. I don't care what this is doing, right? So when you're doing this exercise, your whole point with this horse is making him work, making that hind end work. And so when you get to this rail like that, don't cheat, okay. Right? Make him work, yeah. Make him work, okay? That's all I had to say. Just make him work. So you have to work a little bit too. Who's next? Bueller? No? Bueller? It's only old folks like us get that. Good, so just make sure that your hands are not fixed, that your elbows are relaxed, Alicia. Relax, 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 relax. Exhale and sit, melt, melt. Sit and relax. Yes, keep that bend. Keep that, that's fine. We'll give him credit for that. Good. Now you're on the left lead, okay? He's going through a lot of work in order to skip a rail. No. No, okay. Okay, okay. Stop, stop. Next one. Whoever's next, go ahead. I'm going to just hop on that pony real quick. Maybe come right in the middle. Hey. Trade you. All right. 1, 2, 3. Whoa. I think you saw your stick, maybe. That's okay. You mind giving? Yeah?
If you want me to bring it in.
All right, hang on, hang on. No, we don't want to get me hurt. Last thing I want to do is get me hurt. You all right, bud? Yeah, let's get the mounting block. This is going to be... You got him for a sec? All right. Sorry, Michelle. It was more entertaining than I thought. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Are you going to make it? All right, now if I can last 8 seconds, we're good. I got it. Thank you so much for the assistance. Okay, sorry, Michelle, have at it. Good. There, beautiful job. Keep that outside leg really far back this time. Good job, Michelle. Sit heavy, sit heavy. Good, sit heavy. Beautiful. Make a circle, don't worry about it, and just go down that line. Good, keep the left bend all the way. Outside leg back. Outside leg back. Sit heavy, sit heavy, sit heavy. Beautiful, sit heavy. Outside leg. It's okay. Make a left circle, left circle. That's all right. Why don't you go ahead and just do that part again, okay? Because he was quite good the first half. When you get to, yeah, I think you maybe could have even done one more. I don't care. You don't have to do 5. You can do 6, 4, 5, whatever. Good boy. Try again. Good. Forward first a little bit. There you go. And sit heavy and keep that left bend. Yep, wait for it. Sit. Yep, perfect. Sit. Beautiful. All right. Good. At least he held the cross canter. All right, go ahead. It's all right. Go ahead and finish up with this. He gave you a college effort. His intent was there. That's the important part. Go ahead and just finish up with the leg yield down the long side there. Good. Good, Michelle. There you go. Okay. All right. I just want to see the hind end on this one, if we can get this to smooth out a little bit for you. appreciate the problem. There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Back to the left. So the minute I get on a new horse, I mean, I think you can see every time I get on one of these horses, the first button I touch, Alicia, is here. And without fail, in 99% of the time, that's where the frailty lies. That's where there's a lack of comprehension of your horses. There. Just knowing what those legs are asking them to do. So when you work your horses, everyone, you really want to make sure that, I mean, you saw this horse thinking about biting my leg, right? That would have been exciting. Wouldn't be the first time. But I'm not all that interested in anything but really educating this horse to what the left leg means and what the right leg means. And I think you can see that it's not about my hand. My hand is just is there, right? It's about trying to get my legs working so that the horse really understands my legs, so that then hopefully when I start doing the exercise and I use my leg in this position, that the horse is going to understand. So now I feel as though I'm kind of at go. I wasn't at go, Alicia. I think you saw when I got on, I wasn't at go. So I couldn't go. I was in jail. So now I'm going to try to see if the 30 seconds, minute and a half of hind end work is going to pay off, or if we're still going to have a little bit of confusion. So with this horse, I try basically not to use my hands, and I try to use my leg. All right, I'm going to try it again, see if I can smooth it out a little bit for Alicia. And again, the horse has got to listen to my leg. If I ask it to go forward, I mean now, I don't mean tomorrow. That's not a good time to be light in the croup, because I don't want to come around the corner and feel that. I hate that. Nobody likes that. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. I'm going to give him another chance. Once I run into Darian's horse. Whee! Now we're having fun. Good boy. I think he's going to do it right, so I'm going to make it easy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Ooh. Okay, next one. don't you grab that mounting block unless your horse trusts you more than he trusts me. Ooh. Good boy. Make a circle, young lady. Make a circle right. See if you can soften that up, smooth that up a little bit. Oh my God.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous animal.
You're a good animal. Make another circle, Darian. Good boy. You're a good boy. See, I didn't like that at all. I didn't like that at all. You on? All right. Thank you for that. Okay. Whenever you're ready, young lady. Good. I like that. Thinking outside the box. Good job, Darian. You can start early on the canter. Get your head back. Keep your head back. Don't worry about the rest. Yes. Good. Keep your head back. Yeah. Don't do the rail. Okay. Hey, you did it. Good. Super. Wow. Keep your head back. Beautiful. Keep your head back. All right. Fine. Good. Now see if you can get that leg yield. See if you can get that leg yield over. Not bad, Darian. Hey, I'm impressed. Well done. Well done. Alicia? No, sorry. You go ahead. Sheila, you can go after Sheila. Sorry, Alicia. Hey, super. Super. I didn't think you could do that. You did that very, very well. Excellent, huh? That was your better direction. No, that's your hard direction, the left, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, at home, it was harder for me at the right.
Well, I don't know what to say about that. Because at this home, he's harder on the right, on the left.
Right.
Well, you did a good job anyway, you slice it. I hope it felt better with your head back. Keep that outside leg back. Yes. Yes. Good. Try to separate your hands from your body 1,000,000 times for 1 second. Good. Good. Sit heavy, outside leg back. Yeah, hang on, Sheila. Stop a second. Stop. The problem with Sheila, and I think that the crows on the rail over there can see that the problem with Sheila isn't her positioning of her legs, it's the problem with her hips. Am I wrong? You can see it from there, right? And that was the very thing that when she was flatting, I thought there was maybe something wrong with her stirrups. Remember I said, well, I kept looking behind the riders, and it was all for you. Because your hips, you get your hips a little bit off to the side, and so that's creating confusion. I want you to try it again, and I want you to look at me. You saw when I sat on Alicia's horse that, I just sat straight, and if I wanted to have my outside leg back, I put my outside leg back. If I wanted to have my opposing outside leg back, I put my outside leg back. But Sheila, when you go to put your outside leg back, you're doing this, and it's confusing him because your weight is not positioned properly, and vice versa. You're just dropping your hip. All right, so I want you to think about a focal point straight down the line. So when you turn the corner, for example, to this line, as you come off the wall, I want you to pick like the second beam right there to the left of the USET sign. And I want you to make sure that your shoulders and hips are square to that beam. And then in order to use your leg, just shift your leg, but don't change your focal point. And we'll see if that has any change in his reaction, because I think he's a very sweet horse and he's just getting a little confused. And take your time, Sheila. Take your time. Think about straightness. Now, with your body, not your horse. Good. Don't worry about that. Eyes up. And when you turn the corner, eyes up, outside leg back. Eyes up. Eyes up. Eyes up. Yes, yes, eyes up. Eyes up. Dramatic improvement. When you turn the corner, eyes up, pick a focal point, don't take your eyes off of it. Don't take your eyes off of it. Good. Better, better, better. That's the problem. That's the problem. Is that fair to say down there? That was the problem, right? Because that was dramatic improvement, just she didn't change anything except her focal point. Super, Sheila. Very good. Very good, Sheila. So that was worth the price of admission. Fair to say? That was, for Sheila, that was I don't owe you any money. All right? That was worth the price of admission. That was really well done, but that's something that I think you need to take away, which is your focal point, and you'll use that absolutely at the horse shows and at home. Which is, it was dramatic improvement as you came through the turn. You just came through centered, you were tall, you were in the middle of the horse, and then you just use your leg. You know, you don't make it, whoop, I almost went up. You just use your leg, okay? Then you're not really, you were just over-Englishing. You're over-Englishing. All right, who are we on? Alicia. Before you start, is he listening to your leg? Sit heavy and relaxed. Don't think about your hands. You don't need them anyways. Good. Do a little leg yield. Do a little turn on the haunches. Let me see a turn on the haunches to the right. Yes, outside leg further back. That right leg further back. There you go. There you go. Now walk forward and then a turn on the haunches to the left. Yes, that's correct. That's correct. Ah, you lost it there. That's something you need to work on, okay? But for now, go ahead. Hopefully that'll be enough, okay? You don't need those hands. He has a wonderful mouth. That's not even remotely the complication. Take your time. Let him do his job. Good. Relax. Sit heavy. Outside leg. Change leg. Good. You'll get it. You'll get it. See how little hand you need. You don't need any hand. Just push your hand away from your body. Let him do his job. Alicia, very good. So I would say that's it, right? We're at the top. Okay, come on down. We went a little bit over on this group, but that's good. I had fun. You guys were great. Come on down here. Line up. So that's your job on the flat, all right, to work on leg yield, shoulder in, haunches in, just so that this horse really understands your leg. And it's as we discussed first thing, right? First thing, I said, yeah, it's way too much hand, not enough leg. And that's why this horse wants to get back here, because you just, the way your mind works, your mind goes straight to your hand. Your mind doesn't go to your leg. Go parallel for me. Come on down here, everyone. Super group. You guys were great. These, I hate this. I hate these rails. I hate these rails because it's so easy to find out where you're wanting, where you have problems. You know, you elevate these, I'll do just fine. But when they're on the ground like this, it's always a struggle. It's always a struggle. And it really does a wonderful job telling me what I need to work on. Because it's very easy to go out and just jump clean with a quality horse. It's very easy. Just go and jump clean with a quality horse. But then at some point, the quality of the horse ceases to work. Let's say normally it's the meter 40. Normally the meter 40 is when the quality of the horse ceases to override the lack of education and the lack of experience and the lack of true rideability. The problem is it's too late. By the time you get to a meter 40, the die is cast. So it's very important that you dig in the dirt. It's very important that you dig in the dirt and you unearth these problems. And then you try to devise things that, I mean, because on paper this looks very, very easy. Is that fair to say? Right? I mean, when you walked in here, it's like, yeah, I got this. This is easy. But it isn't. It isn't. So these are the exercises that you want to test yourself with at home to really unearth where you need to keep working on your flat. I like getting questions from the riders. That way I feel like I've engaged you mentally a little bit. Any question, and then I'll ask the spectator, anyone that was watching if they have a question, but any questions from the jockeys thus far? Yes, Alicia.
Something pertaining to this horse, because and he has a lovely mouth. The problem, to say I share him with another, his owner is a different, like he's, but anyway, he's great in, like I've always ridden him in just a plain snaffle until he grabbed the bridle of the horse show and ran away with me and I couldn't stop it.
Understandable, right, right.
So it's like, and the thing is, he's like, you know, kind of, I've always tried to be soft and jump, and then, but he'll, like, it's not so much on the flat, he's much better, and so you'll see when we go to jump, he'll grab and run right through my hand. And it's probably more seat, more leg. I tend to be, obviously, I'm not a heavier seated rider, and I'm working on it, I'm trying to.
Well, okay, so let me first talk about, so the question was, let me repeat it.
Yeah,
Were you,
how do I hit, like.
yeah, so let me give you your question, and then you can tell me if I'm on point or not. So the question was, this horse, I never really had problems with the horse. He has a very nice mouth, but kind of out of the blue, every once in a while grab the bit and run off. And so because of that, I kind of feel as though I have to keep him in check. I have to keep him in check so that the rock doesn't roll down the mountain. Okay, let me explain behavior to you. All right? It's our behavior and it's equine behavior. It's the way our brains work. The way our brains work is it's far more apt to do what it knows how to do already. So a behavior is like a bridge. If you go over this bridge every day and you don't have problems, and that's the bridge that you go over, and all of a sudden someone asks you to take a different bridge, you're reluctant because you're not as familiar with that bridge. And that's basically the way our brains work. That's why as we get older, our personalities, we gradually cut out the extra stuff. We cease trying to be different, and we're just happy to be who we are. Because those bridges are set in stone, and horses are the same way. So the key to behavior with people and with horses is change. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, focusing on his mouth and from the leg forward, then that's going to be the bridge that he always takes to work. That's the line of communication. He's not going to choose the other bridge, the leg bridge. He's not going to choose it. So you have to start every once in a while, hey, look, there's a totally new bridge over here. Once you start consistently changing a horse's behavior, changing the path that they walk, then you have a chance to change their behavior. But until you do that, until you start communicating with the other side of the horse, you're going to get the same thing. Right? Einstein said, what's the definition of insanity? Someone doing the same thing over and over again. So, nothing else. Okay, so, gotta be careful. It's 2019. So, no, not here, right? Not in this ring. We can say whatever we want, right? So you want to make sure that if you have a horse, anytime I have a horse that's bad, that's tough in the mouth, or that's a little funny in the mouth, or that is, I always go to where they're weak. I always go to where they're weak. I play to their weakness in that moment. If there's a discipline issue, I go to where they're weak. I don't go to where they're strong. If I have a horse that's running away with me, I teach them to bend. Right? Because horses don't run away soft and bent. Have you ever had a horse run away with you soft and bent? Anyone? We were just talking about this. How many people here have been run away with? All right? Anyone down there you've never been run away with? Oh, okay, sorry. Okay. Now, when you got run away with, was the horse going straight and rigid, or was the horse soft and wrapped around your leg, just running? Straight, thank you. Straight, right? So anytime I have a horse that wants to be strong, now running away is an exaggeration, I always work on creating shape, because shape makes them weaker. And if they're weaker, I'm stronger. I'm not any stronger, but proportionately I'm stronger, because now the horse is bent and weak. With your horse, when I got on it and he started doing that stuff, I didn't care about that stuff. I only cared about the bend. Remember, riding a horse is like life. There's only one person you can control, and it's you. You can't keep a horse from doing anything. Nothing. There's nothing that you can keep this horse from doing if it decides to do it. Physically, you're not going to do it. All you can do is, if they do something, this is how I act. You control yourself, and then their behavior will fall in line. So you have to control yourself, meaning I need to work on making sure that the horse understands what my legs are doing. If that horse understands what my legs are doing, now we're working with a whole new bridge here. He won't even think about running away because he's not thinking about his mouth. Okay? If you have a horse that stops, and you can teach the horse to keep its head down, and if you're able to make a horse keep its head down, or a horse that doesn't want to go in the ring, the first thing, if a horse doesn't want to come in the ring, the first thing they do is stick their head up. That's the first thing. Then they don't go in the ring. If you can keep them from sticking their head up, they go in the ring. Because the bridge isn't there. It's just the behavioral issue. So with this horse, I would be focused totally on his tail. And then that will probably go away. Okay? Question? Question? Yeah, and it was just these silly rails on the ground, but it always is. I couldn't bring my Grand Prix horse here without finding weaknesses today. Questions?
So for this horse, would you say the most important thing is to go home and work on the inside leg, inside rein, and getting him to start searching for the bit more?
Yeah, this horse's answer is always the same. I'm not listening. I'm not listening. Right? So you have to make this horse willing to listen. You have to not make it. You have to allow this horse the opportunity to listen, which means it needs to be reaching for your hand. It needs to be reaching for advice. It needs to be looking for you to help it. So you got to put it in that position. I would get it tired before I rode it, so that mentally it was in a slightly better state. Second, Make sure when you're doing your flat work that it's about the horse looking for your hand. If she gets on this horse and starts pulling, then immediately the horse is going to be resisting the hand and is never going to look for her hand. The goal is getting this horse, every horse is different. That's this horse's problem. That's not this horse's problem. That's that horse's problem. Every horse is different. And that horse's problem is it doesn't want to get any help from you. So you have to convince it that it needs your help. And so it has to start looking for your hand in a positive way. That will be the beginning of the behavioral change. Okay? It's hard to do. I'm not saying it's easy. It takes a lot of practice. But at least if you know what you're looking for, there's a chance you're going to find it. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for that horse to look for your hand. And that comes from pushing with your leg. Because if you push with your leg and create a vacuum with your hand, the horse will ultimately go to your hand because it likes hand more than leg. As it goes to your hand, then you take the leg off a little bit just to tease it. That's the reward. You go to my hand, I stop nagging you. So now you've changed the behavior. Now you've made the horse where it likes hand and doesn't appreciate leg quite as much. All right, so you have to change the way you got to change the bridge that you walk to work on. Your behavior has to change. You have to start working and thinking with your leg and not worrying about this thing up here. This has nothing to do with it. If I can control this horse with my leg, get it shifting, get its hips moving, then it'll start feeling comfortable with my hands. But you have to change. To get this horse to change, you have to change the way you think. So you need to try that. A question? Any questions from anyone watching?
This might be pushing it too far, but basically a very simplistic first thing exercise with just a horse basically standing, walking, getting him to cross over behind.
Yo.
Show me with the brown horse.
What's that?
Just basically getting him to understand that he needs to cross over.
Which brown horse?
This one. Yeah, that's this.
You want me to get on him or just?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's easier said than done, but sure. I'll tell you what, if you bring me the mounting block, I'll get on him. He says, no. He says, that's a terrible question. I know, but... He says, that's a terrible question. If you want, you guys can disperse because it's lunchtime if you want, or you can hang out, whatever you prefer. You're very welcome. You guys rode great. Oh yes, that would be A. Thank you. My wife will thank you. She rides me. She rides me.
Like when you were on him initially, he looked like he was stuck, with his hind leg.
Yeah, let me get on and then we'll talk. Because he's a gentle giant. All right, thank you. Okay, so Darian. So this horse is a little bit similar to yours. Much easier. It's older, right? This horse is 8. Yeah. So it's in some ways it's very different, but in some ways it's the same basic training regime. So with this horse, I don't care. From here forward, that's none of my business. All right? What I'm trying to do is get this horse to, when I put my left leg on, I'm just trying to get the horse to step away from my left leg. That's it. And when the horse does it, I take my leg off. Simple, like I'm riding a 4-year-old or a 2-year-old. All right? And then vice versa. I'm going to try my right leg. Just leg. Sheila, not hips. So just leg. There. And now I'm going to use my leg the same way I use my hand. If you watch my leg, I'm going to use my leather before steel. I want to use leather before steel. So so I'm going to use leather. Excellent. Then off with the leather. Leather, steel. Steel. There. Then off. Leather. Here I'm going to use leather, steel. Leather, back to leather, steal, nothing. So you have to break it into parts. So you want the horse to react to leather. So now leather, and I didn't need steel. You could see that, right? I didn't need steel. I just leather, there, right? And when he steps like that, is one kiss off, kiss off, kiss off, kiss off, kiss off. And then here the same thing. If I want him to turn, let's see, I'm going to do a terrible turn on the shoulder. We'll see, maybe it won't be that bad, but okay. So just leather, leather, a little spur, and then back to leather, spur, leather, steel, leather, steel, leather. Okay, then we'll go the other way. Leather, steel, off, leather, steel, yep, leather, steel, leather, steel. So it's important that you break it down in those parts, because the goal is obviously to use leather and not have to use your spur. So the spur is there just to support your ankle. And when I'm riding this horse, I'm thinking about my ankle bone. My ankle bone is what's caressing his rib cage. And if the ankle bone doesn't work, and I think you can see that, if the ankle bone doesn't work, then just a nudge with the steel. All right, so then, now that he's starting to understand the leg, then I can start doing different things just with his comprehension of the leg. And then if I start using the hand as well, then I can start to speed it up. So I'm getting the same type of reaction with a little bit more pressure. And then if I want, then you can just start getting him where, okay, so now you understand. So now let's see if I can get you, to really respond. Yeah, not quite what I want. So try it this way. Good, 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 good. Oh. Forward. Now try the left side, the left leg, right side, but it's left leg. Oh. So I'm really, my hands are secondary and my legs. And the other thing you want to remember as a rider, what part of your body is actually touching the horse? I mean, actually touching the horse. That's it. That's it. And that's the one part of our body none of us want to use. Right? We're all willing to use our hands and our seat, but there's something leathery in between us and the horse. There's a medium. But with your leg, it's, other than if you don't count your boot, you can really feel your horse. So then I could shut down that drift with the other leg. So I get him going this way and then off, on. And it's good too to stop before the rail, because the rail works to stop them. Now he's starting to understand, the leg and the connection with the hand. And now if I get him, Alicia, where he's, thinking about my leg, and I'm starting to put gears on with just my leg, then your hand is icing, not the cake. You have to have some icing, don't get me wrong, but without cake, it's just a little gooey ball of sugar. And then for your horse, Darian, you can see this horse now, because I'm going with a lot of leg. Now you see what this horse is doing? He's saying, please, please just take my mouth. Take my mouth. I'm tired of all this work with your leg. So he's looking to change. He's looking now to move the furniture. He's looking for me to stop this. So he's like, just pull on me, please, just pull on me. And so I don't want to pull on him. And then see how he'll go to China. He'll go to China. Okay, anything else that you want to see with this pony?
Thank you.
My pleasure. He's a good egg. Oh. He says, yeah, I'm happy now. If you just get him off, that'll be fine. He's a good boy. Well done. Good job.